So I'm joined by the cold stairs. You'll have to remind me of your name, guys. So start on the end.
Chris. I'm Bryce.
I'm Brian.
No, you're not.
He's not Brian. Who is he?
Brian Bonham.
Brian Bonham.
So, first of all, I want to thank you guys so much for chatting to us today. We are in this fantastic little black back room with fridges, microphone, and plenty of beer barrels at the New Cross Inn. Now, you've been sort of touring quite a miniature tour around the UK and Europe. How's that gone so far? Because I know you've been in like sort of Germany and where was the other place you were with this tour?
We've done This tour is Germany, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands,
Denmark.
I said Holland. Denmark, yeah. UK.
Cool. So, how's it actually been going so far? How's the receptions been at the various venues? Because obviously this venue, quite a popular little one for smaller bands, and a lot of relatively big bands have sort of cut their teeth here. So, how's it been on this tour so far?
It's been really great. We've had a great crowd reception, great crowds. It's all in support of the Southern coming out Friday, September 6th, on Mascot. So it's been great. Can't really complain about it at all.
I love the plug. You've got the date, you've got the time, you've got everything coming out. So obviously the Southern is your next record coming out, and I think it's like your 6th, 7th. You've actually got quite a few behind you already. So what was it like actually? What was the concept behind this album? What was it like recording it and getting it ready?
We started recording October of last year, so we did October and December, and we just had a ton of material that kind of built up. So it was great. We recorded at Memphis Magnetic in Memphis, Tennessee. Scott McEwen did the engineering on it, and we were super big fans of him in the studio both, and it was great. We rehearsed the material, knew it well before we went in, so we actually cut the record in about 2 days. First round, day, so the next round. So pretty easy.
Yeah. So obviously you've got this record coming out. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted by the music. This is actually driving. But you guys are a big fan of sort of the blues, southern rock. Where did your influences come from initially? Because I was reading your sort of bio on things, and I think it was something along the lines of, we're not your regular southern rock band. And I was like, that sort of quote made me want to know more. So can you elaborate where these...
Brian and I both grew up in small towns in Kentucky, and I think as we were touring, a lot of the reception that we would get that would call us Southern was more from the dialect. Our Southern rock upbringing was more of AC/DC and Robin Trower and Thin Lizzy more than it was just Skynyrd and Allman Brothers. So I feel like we kept getting that tag of being a Southern band, and we kind of did this record in a way to say, okay, well, if you want to call us Southern, that's fine, but these are our influences, and kind of wrote the record around that idea.
Cool. So there's a lot of blues influences here as well. When you actually sort of started writing your music, where was it something that you actually wanted to achieve? Did you have a goal? This is how we want to sound, or was it quite a, I suppose, natural thing that came out with your style?
Brian and I played in a band prior to this that had some pretty good success in the States and didn't go where we wanted it to go. So when we started this band, we weren't trying to get a record deal. We weren't trying to do anything. We just were having fun. And I think we latched on to it. Just came natural. The sound, the riffs, the writing. And yeah, I think at the point where you figure out kind of who you are, then it's easy to take off. When you're trying to figure out who you are, you can get stuck in the mud. So it was pretty easy with this band.
Cool. So obviously I've mentioned like touring. You've been around a lot, and you tend to come back to Europe quite a lot. I've noticed when I was checking things out. So where would you say your favourite part of Europe to go is? Not necessarily because of the fans, but just the vibe of the area. Because I think you mentioned Hastings, and it was a bit of a scary town. I want to talk about that in a little bit. But where would you say your sort of favourite part of Europe to actually go is?
I think we all three probably have a different thing. I'm Stockholm and Copenhagen for me.
Yeah, excuse me, Scandinavia for sure.
I quite like the UK.
Suck up.
I mean,
So I have to ask, why Scandinavia specifically? Don't get me wrong, I've been to Scandinavian countries and I think it's the vibe for me, but
Yeah, I think that was the first place that we went, so I have a fondness for it. You know, that was the first place that Chris and I went before Bryce was in the band, and we had a good time. Great reception, people were lovely, as they are here too. But that was just popping our virginity for crossing the pond. So.
how about yourself, Chris? What was it about the sort of the Scandinavian countries that really popped for you?
It's just a lot of rural area, you know, a lot of wilderness, a lot of water. Even the big cities like Stockholm, you know, there's a lot of water in the city. I like that, you know. But we've gotten a great reception everywhere we've been over here. But I loved seeing the forest and just kind of nature and more in Scandinavia maybe.
I think it's kind of the peaceful element
It
of
is
it.
very.
Like it's got a very natural and feeling to it. I don't know how else I could put it, but also they've got great taste of music there as well. So
They do.
Yeah.
And I like Scotland too. It was beautiful when we were up there. And there's, you know, we were in Bath for a day off the other day, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So, you know, there's all kinds of places. The good thing with us is we've kind of been, either the states are big, but we've kind of been around most of the states, you know, and back home. But a lot of the area over here we still have yet to discover. So it's always fun.
So the UK, right? Explain why you're sucking up to me and going, yeah, the UK's the best.
well, like Brian said, their first experience was in Scandinavia. Coming overseas, my first experience was with the UK, so that was kind of, I guess, my reasoning for it. And you know, I grew up loving Pink Floyd, so I'm always looking for kind of like landmarks. We went down to the Battersea Power Station last year, which was amazing, and you know, I know it's just a big mall, but it was kind of special to me for whatever reason. So
To be fair, I live down the road from there and I've never actually been, bizarrely
yeah.
enough. But I've known it ever since it was just a derelict power station, just
Right.
going past it on the train. And now someone from America has been there and I'm still going, oh, it's one station away from me and I've still not been.
Yeah.
Where can you recommend specifically in there? Is it worth going up in the chimneys?
Well, we didn't go up in the chimneys, so I can't recommend too much. I don't want to look like an idiot, but it's awesome. It looks cool.
Fair enough. Now, before we started the interview, you mentioned like Hastings and stuff like that. I don't want to get into a bad mouthing contest with them because I'm from a little town called Croydon, and that's a hole in the earth. I'm not going to lie. But what was it about Hastings? You sort of mentioned the hotel was something out of a horror movie or something, or was it David Lynch movie?
Yeah.
You got to elaborate on that. You
He
got to.
wants me to take the brunt of this abuse. I watch a show on Amazon called Grace back home. It's set in Brighton. And so my perception of kind of what that area would be was probably a little bit more of Brighton. But we had COVID a few years ago on an English tour, and we got stuck in Blackpool, which was similar to Hastings. It just seemed like it was stuck in 1978. And we stayed in a really, really old hotel, and I was downstairs talking to my wife in the middle of the night. There was a night watchman at the hotel that was pretty cool. He kept coming down the steps, and he said, 1.7 miles every night, 23 years, walking up and down the steps. So it was just kind of a spooky town. I don't know.
It was actually a ghost that he was talking to.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Song material there. The people were great. The people were great. But I'm sure it's probably like being in the States. First time you see certain towns, maybe your perception of what it would be is different. But
Do you know what? I suppose I can relate to that a little bit because I mean, a few years ago, well, more than a few years ago. I hate when I say a few years ago. It's more like 14 years ago now. I hate getting older. But went out to New Orleans, and a friend of mine was a big Britney Spears fan, and she insisted we drove down to her town, and I was just like, I'm not getting out of the car here. There's a sign there's a sign on that store that says we do not accept any cash below this sum, and I was like, I'm in the epitome of redneck right now. They won't like my British accent.
yeah.
So I think I can relate in a weird kind of way. It's probably very unfounded, that fear, if I'm honest, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how unfounded it is. It's in general, everywhere that are in Europe is usually more safe than some spots back home now. But the world, you know.
It is. So obviously you've got this tour going on, you've got the new record coming out, and I will say it's absolutely fantastic, by the way. I've been listening to it sort of back to front in between meetings today and things like that. Have you got a specific favourite tune off the record that, you know, something that you as a band are particularly proud of, or even individually?
Yeah, Brian, that.
Yeah, wow. I don't really have a favorite song. No particular favorite. It's kind of like trying to pick your favorite dog or your favorite kid, you know, just like them all for different reasons, and proud of them all. It's kind of a generic, basic answer, but I'll go with Confession. That one came out really nice. That's a fun one to play live. So
Cool. I'm going to look forward to that one.
Yeah, I got a favorite. Giving It Up is a exciting tune on that. Horse to Water is great as well. I mean, really, truthfully, the whole album is very personal to all of us, and you know, I feel like I had a little bit more of my fingerprints on this one as opposed to Voices. So I'm very proud of this record and the work we've done on it. So, but yeah, Giving It Up, I like it.
I don't really like much of the record. And I don't remember recording. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, it's my lyrics and they're all personal. I love playing Confession with the guys. There's a song there called 7 Ways from Sundown I'm fond of too. So, but yeah, we're proud of it. We worked hard on it. We were diligent in the studio and was really proud of everybody. Just the way we functioned in there and knocked it out. We were on a good wavelength. So I think it shows.
Cool. Now, obviously you've done the European tour. You've been going around Europe quite a lot. If you could go anywhere in the world, play anywhere, even like any festival, any venue or specific country, where would you really want to perform?
I'm probably still a Royal Albert Hall guy at the moment. Yeah, that's probably my shot.
I'll let you go first.
the Hollywood Bowl.
Local, yeah. Well, local to you guys at least.
Yeah, I don't really have anything. I just want to play, so anywhere is fine with me. So
Some guys back garden during like when they've like put a tent up for some reason.
I've played worse, so it's fine.
Fair enough. So if you could play with any specific band, or actually I'm going to say collaborate on a song, who would be like, sort of your number one pick if you could actually go, we're going to do a tune together or something, just sort of a collaboration of some sort?
Probably Jimmy Page still, since he's alive. Yeah. Easy enough.
I would play with these two guys sitting on this couch with me. Chris is the best songwriter I know, and I think he's one of the best ever to do it, honestly. And yeah, thank you. But these guys are just, it's a brotherhood. They're, we have our moments, and it's like a family in that way. But we don't take it for granted what we have here. So I can't imagine doing it with someone else. So.
I mean, I can't follow up that, right?
Of course you can.
No, same with Brian, really. I mean, it's a blast playing with this band and David Gilmour.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sir, I love you both, but if Jimmy calls, I'll have to come back after a short thing. He's not gonna be here that much longer, so I tried to pick somebody that was on the way out.
He still can play, so that's all good.
Yeah.
I do want to say thanks so much for chatting to us today. It's been a blast. I'm looking forward to the show. One thing I always like to do, if I've got one in mind, is finish on a joke. How are you with awful jokes? Do you like them?
I'm sure we're fine with them, yeah.
Excellent. So there's two cats. They're going to have a race across the English Channel. Their names are 1, 2, 3 Cat and Un, 2, 3 Cat. Now, I want you to tell me which cat you think won that race.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Why 1, 2, 3?
Well, he's got number 1 in his name.
Well, you are right, but not for that reason. So 1, 2, 3 Cat won the race, the swimming race across the channel, because Un, 2, 3 Cat sank.
Pretty good.
It's terrible. They are bad jokes, but I always like to end on a terrible joke.
That's a terrible joke.
It is awful. I admitted it was going to be awful. But hey ho, if you're there on stage and you just start laughing, it's because of me.
Perfect.
But thanks so much, guys, and good luck with the show and the rest of the shows you're going to be playing. Thank you.
Thanks so much, man.
Cheers, guys.